as she said. I'm also on the committee for First Friday, that's sponsored by the Clarksburg Visitors Bureau, and I'm on that committee as well. Tonight is First Friday, and it is a Roaring Twenties theme. We're going to have instructors teaching people to Charleston. We're going to have a scavenger hunt going on. We've got live music happening. But the main thing is around 7:30 is the Charleston party on Jackson Square. We're all dressing like this, and we're partying with. You know, I'm going to get Rosalind involved in this. we have 4-year-olds, and we have Rosalind and everything in between. But we're just going to have a great time tonight. So if you can come down to First Friday, it starts at 4:30. The dancing starts around 7, and there's a whole lot happening in between. So come see us.
Please bring friends. We have our first time of almost filling all of Jackson Square. I'm the new vendor organizer for First Friday RJ. I'm the food and beverage director here. I'm also a vendor myself with my wife and I's private businesses on the side. And instead of the 3 or 4 people you guys have seen as vendors, we have 24 tonight.
Oh, wow.
And this is just the start. Thank you. We're gonna have a lot of fun. I plan to fill that square every single First Friday and moving forward to keep that square filled as possible. The more people we have downtown, the better our downtown becomes. So appreciate you all for being here. Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
For breakfast this morning too, delicious. With us this morning, we have an economic development update. So we have Amy Haberbosch Wilson. She's Executive Director of our Harrison County Economic Development Corporation. She's been with us 6.5 years now, thereabout, yeah. So, yeah. 2018. Yeah, six and a half years, yeah. So we're super excited to have her here and the dynamic duo. We have Luis Ramirez. He's our Economic Development Assistant. And we're super proud of him because he's a recent graduate of Pierpont Community and Technical College.
I'm not sure, congratulations, but I'm not sure I heard the name.
Pierpont Community and Technical College. So we're super proud of Luis and Amy. They do a fabulous job and we're excited to hear their update, so take it away.
Thank you. And a new homeowner in Clarksburg.
Yeah.
Just bought his first home.
Yeah.
So thank you all. Thank you to the chamber for having us. Thank you, Hilda Garden. Thank you all for showing up. So we will do the best we can. I was kind of get a feel for new faces. I hate to go over and kind of just reiterate some of the things that we do and who we are, especially for people that I've known or more than the years that I've been at this job. But I do see new faces. So we'll talk a little bit about who we are and what we do briefly, and then we'll get into some of the projects. So Luis, Economic Development Assistant, we've been here 3 years now.
It's going to be 3 years in September.
Yes, so this is going to be kind of your presentation debut. So we're going to tag team. Typically I take over and do a lot of the talking. We're going to pitch a few of those to Luis and have him because we're not really public speakers. We are behind the scenes. We are networking, working with people, working with companies, whatever it takes for economic development. This is one of the things that it takes for economic development, so this is not our comfort zone, but we will do the best we can. So quickly, we were founded in 2015. We're not even 10 years old yet. We are the first point of contact for economic development in the county. We are county designated by the County Commission as the lead economic development agency. We have strong support from county government, municipalities, companies in the county, as well as the state and federal now. We have about 60 plus local businesses that are members. We are membership driven, so we are public-private. We are not subject to FOIA, but we have municipalities, county government, and the rest are private, made up of our members and our board. They are all voting. Outcome is business attraction, business retention, and business expansion. Anything that has to do with economic development. We were just joking, we do birthday parties, we make balloons, we do whatever it takes. And oddly enough, we've had to do some really odd things that we never thought were economic development, but we make that stretch and realize what a difference it's made. So some of the things that are important to us, we do a strategic plan and an action plan. Every single year, we update our strategic plan, which is 4 years. A 4-year plan, it's updated every year. We do a 2-year action plan, and Lisa and I update that every year. We make sure that we are looking at the community, looking at the businesses, political atmosphere, regional input, whatever it takes to make sure, are we headed in the right direction? Are we doing what we need to be doing daily? We do not have a daily routine. It would be a lot easier if we did. We also don't have a team of 20 in our office. So we have to make sure that we have our list of important things. We focus on employment opportunities, infrastructure development, standard of living, increased investment that goes into the county and the region, technology advancements, enhanced social services, global competitiveness, and improved quality of governance. All of those have their own objectives and strategies that we have to kind of create, change, adapt to, and that's why we update every single year the action plan and the strategic plan. So in pulling the economic indicators, Luis, you put the slide together just to kind of get a feel of where we are. We use kind of a base to see, are we doing our job? It's really hard with economic development. Are we moving the needle? How do we tell?
Yeah, for the past year, the trend has been decreasing, which is good. In other parts of the US, the trend has not been the same as compared to West Virginia. So we're doing a great job. And those numbers are just in Harrison County. They're not statewide.
So it shows from last month, each one has actually gone up. So the unemployment rate, actually it went down, but better numbers. Labor force, you can see it went up in just a month. Employment, people going back to work. Do we know the reasons? Not really. I mean, because it tends to change, and we get our economic update from WVU, John Deskins. But we try to kind of keep an eye on the pulse here, just to make sure our companies are covered, our workforce is covered, and what these changes are. So when he pulled this, I was really surprised that we just continue to get better numbers. I don't know how long it's gonna stay this way, but it's showing this is the hot spot. We're doing something right, obviously. So recent developments. A lot of people end up coming to this to find out what all is going on and kind of what we're working on. We created an Aerotech zone. And I think a few of you have heard me talk about this before. A few years ago, we were meeting every single Tuesday to develop aviation industry in the airport. We had 14 different projects every Tuesday. We didn't meet just to meet. We actually sat down and we had around the list, around the table, what are the milestones of where we were the week prior? What have we accomplished? This is where we're gonna be. And these constantly change. We looked at budgets, we looked at people, meetings, different players, grants, whatever it would take to get this developed. That was how we moved the mountain. And literally moved the mountain. Took the dirt from a mountain, dropped it into a valley, created flat land, and at the same time working with the aviation industries and companies that are there. We were working with training, with Pierpont, how can we better serve the companies that are there, workforce, what do they need, infrastructure, new terminal. All of these projects were all part of that. When we included in the beginning our utility companies, it was actually the idea of one of the utility companies, does it have to be just aviation? We would love to get behind you and support, and we're going to, but we want to see more of technology. So you have more technology here than some of the other areas if it's blended with your aviation. Absolutely right. So we created not just at the airport, which we had the Aerotech Business Park, we now have an Aerotech zone, which includes High Tech Foundation in Marion County, where you have NASA, NOAA, federal contracts that are there, FBI is included. We have high tech research done at WVU, UHC, United Hospital Center right here. It goes into Lockheed Martin. So we expanded that zone, and that's what we're marketing. So we're not marketing just the airport. We're not marketing just aviation at the airport. We're marketing the Aerotech zone, which includes several counties. pull from our larger team, Kathy, not only with the chamber, but the Alliance, the Economic Development Alliance Corporation. So we have a funding agency. It's a tool that we use for businesses in Harrison County that would like to expand or start up, high risk. You have the opportunity to apply for local funds for that. North Star capitalized on that. So they were just maybe about a month old, and they had 2 to 3 employees, sat down with the Alliance, went through the process, took out their first loan. We loaned up to $250,000 as a max. We have about $1 million to loan out. They were able to pay that off and come back for another loan. So in just a couple of years, North Star Technology just opened, I think June 1st, when we to the public, made their announcement, 40,000 square foot building. It's their second location. They have 55 jobs here, but they're over 100, we're about 120, I think, overall. North Star is just in Harrison County. So 2 Bridgeport locations, and then Harrison Warehouse, which is in Clarksburg, Adamston area, if you've ever seen that. We've been marketing that building ever since I've been here. Can you picture that? Large building, really hard to move, 185,000 square foot building, largest one in Harrison County. We get a lot of pings from the state, a lot of requests for information on a large building. We submit the large building, they will come and see it, it's not what they want. Location, position, you can't really expand, you can't get around it, it's difficult. It has its issues. The most interest we've ever had are from people outside of the country. We've shown people from Turkey, we've shown a Japan company, China, Germany. They're the ones that say, we're okay with old buildings, we'll make it work. Not really this one. So we weren't really sure what we were gonna end up doing with that building, how we could move it. North Star Technologies picked it up and took the whole entire building in Clarksburg. So it kind of gives me cool chills because startup company, which is what we do, working with them, believing in them, using the alliance that we have, to the state of West Virginia for their input and their support, working with them, 2 locations, then to take this building, it's just like full circle, and they are still growing. They are working directly with the companies that are up there now, NHI, Pratt Whitney, continued contracts. So this is what we do to support companies like this. Pratt Whitney had their PW 800 contract expansion. That was a global expansion, additional 50 jobs that they included. They weren't just fighting with internal other states, it's not just our competition. When we brought them in, we sat down, we knew we were just one of the many stops that they had. They were gonna go on to another country, they were going to another state. We had to wine and dine them. What makes West Virginia compete with some of the other ones? What do we have that was different? What we did different in this one, we had the state of West Virginia. Let's pull out everything. We had a full table, we set up the whole day. We had federal representatives, we had state representatives, governor's office, county representatives, municipal representatives, economic development, and we sat down with them. We had the meal lined up, everything in West Virginia. We were very, very personalized, and they absolutely loved it. They were used to the corporate, they were used to very business-like timing. Not that we were laid back, but we were very structured, and the immediate feedback, you all get along so well. We did a good job of showing them that we do. This is how we get the companies here. It's how the FBI ended up here. We all wanted them. That was our end goal. Our end goal was we wanted this project. We wanted them to land here. We all do get along. We all fought for the same end result, was to win this contract. So when they ask us other questions, is it always this kind of weather? What do you do for fun? These are questions that really didn't pertain to Pratt Whitney being in Harrison County, but it pertained to the employees living here. So if they're going to grow 100 employees, 200 employees, 300 employees, if we're going to invest here and we want to be here, it's going to be long term. How do we go back and tell our employees? Because there's a lot of negativity from West Virginia. But you all seem to love it, and we did, and it showed. We were not being fake. We love our state, and we love our county, and we really wanted Pratt Whitney here, and it showed. So at the end of the day, and it was literally the end of the day, we got a call that they were not going to, they actually crossed one of the places off their list, finished their tour. We found out in a couple of months that we were shortlisted. and we now have the PW800 contract here. The terminal is one of our projects. Every 2 weeks, 4 years, we met, moving the mountain, building it, finding the funds, lobbying for the funds, writing grants for the funds. $25 million terminal, total employment impact is gonna be 555 jobs. This is included, or will be included, in the $1.2 billion impact, not million, but $1 billion impact that we have from our aviation and airport here. So it doesn't include aviation technology in the AirTech zone. This is just what the airport brings in. $1.2 billion of an impact into our county and our region. Because our region, when we look bigger, we're looking at, because we have Marion, or we have Lewis County here, right? 17 counties. 17 counties are what we impact. You look at, I think it's now 13 with the FBI and 11 with the hospital. Not just people using it, but people working there. The economic impact that we have on these other counties, it's not just Harrison County. We'll also have the first and only escalator in the county.
It's officially a sort of UWBU athletics.
Yes. Aurora. Aurora is a Boeing company, Fortune 500 company. They didn't just announce, they just finalized, had a grand opening on a 50,000 square foot expansion. They're increasing their workforce by 50% in the next 5 years. This is not an MRO, they're not the maintenance, repair, and operation like you have with Pratt Whitney or MHIRJ. They are research and technology, high end, being done right here in Bridgeport. So Boeing has 6 buildings. They are occupying 6 buildings in Harrison County. MHIRJ, so we have a 100,000 square foot expansion. They built 2 terminals, 200,000 square foot terminals. They are doing North Central Washington training program where workforce has been and continues to be an issue. One of the things they looked at, we have to have employees. We have to have trained employees. They're working directly with Pierpont School, it's coming in, whatever we can do. Let's just go ahead and have an in-house training. Let's see how this works. So they are training their employees in-house, and they will be direct employees of MHI. And they are the largest, when I say MRO, maintenance, repair, and operations service provider in the US. And that's the MHIRJ. So the MHI is the largest globally. So we have the largest one in the world located here. Now we get into the 2024 Chamber of Commerce Business of the Year.
So, Boss Hobbs, as everyone knows, they relocated to Middlebrook Mall. They opened up a 151,000 square foot store that employs 250 people, which is the largest department store in West Virginia and the first one in the state. So we're pretty proud of that. And yesterday, or recently, Meadowbrook announced the Hive Entertainment Zone, which is a 54,000 square foot trampoline park, which is the largest in the state. So we're getting up there with the biggest in the state, sort of like Texas.
And it's called the Hive?
The Hive.
The Hive.
Yes.
So the Hive alone is a $1.8 million investment. What we said, Boss Cobb's is an $8 million investment. Dick's Sporting Goods, $2.9 million. American Eagle's doing the $1 million. They don't have the number yet on Marshalls and what's happening with Buckle, but just those alone, just 4 or 5 that I listed, one of the reasons why they just got the business. So for that mall to be 40 years old, and I know I was able to give, I was honored to be able to give that award at the Chamber of Dinner. It was one of the things where I'm a mall kid. You know, growing up in a mall, that was the place to be. There was nowhere else to go. You had to be at the mall. I mean, I lived 20 minutes from just a convenience store. We didn't even have a paved road. But I had to make sure that I had to be at the mall with my friends. I was truly a mall kid. And then you watch through the 90s, you know, watch some of the malls were struggling, and then more of the malls were struggling. 10 years ago, the malls were struggling, and then you think of COVID. I can't imagine losing that mall. We're not losing this mall. This is amazing to be able to give that award, talk about Boscov's, have all these announcements, have additional businesses that are in there expanding, new businesses that are coming. Our mall is thriving. That has a lot to do with the community. It has a lot to do with the business owner, but it truly has a lot to do with the community.
Charles Point, we have Menards, which is a $40 million investment, and it's a 250,000 square foot facility with a projected growth of 500 jobs and $150 to $200 million in annual revenue.
And if you haven't been up there, just take a drive. Just take a drive. It's completely different. Charles Point, White Oaks, we've got two developments that are there. Drive around and just see how well things are planned and how much space we have to market. So if you see Menards, it's unreal. Kind of have an idea because we do buildings. We have an idea of square footage, and then you drive up there and you see how massive this building is and how much additional space that we have. Soon to have One General located up there, a few other tenants that will be located in Charles Point. So you'll see it expand, but it's really cool to see it now before they're even there.
You know, Montana will have a 20,000 square foot facility there. Animation beds and 8 acres.
So I don't know if you have a slide on the healthcare, but spinning off on that one with healthcare. So their new location at Charles Point, their expansion, their awards that they've been receiving. We have the Change Your State initiative with this Healthy Harrison that was created by UHC, the BU Foundation, to truly change the state of health in West Virginia. It has actually been happening. Again, we talk about moving the needle. It's really hard to have the measurables. They have been able to measure, and I say they, I should say we, because I'm actually the president of Healthy Harrison. But credit goes to John Paul Nardelli, who's the executive director. Truly moving the needle when it comes to healthcare in West Virginia, and just to change the state of health. So when we talk about these companies coming in, and we had to talk about some of our negatives, health is always brought up, always. Ever since I've been here, the companies that are coming in from either other states or other countries, if you do a search, even a simple Google search, we are not high on the list when it comes to being really, really healthy. But at least we can say, this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing to combat that, to change that, to make a difference. And we actually have numbers now, and we can show where we're going into the schools, the podcast schools, talking to the students, the programs that are there, the pilots that are now 2 and 3 years in, the companies that are part of this, WVU, UHC, Mon General, some of the numbers that we're seeing, we can say, we as a group, as a state, are changing the health. We'd like to see this in every county. UHC was named their first medical respite care site in the state. That was recent. They were also named Newsweek's America's Best Maternity Hospitals. So as a new grandmother, who's just a couple months old, so I'd love to hear that. And their new nursing unit, which we announced last year, is up and running, and we should hear hopefully soon more news from them.